Welcome back to the MBH podcast, Money Buys Happiness, season 5. Before we get into it, thank you guys for showing us love. We finally passed 1,000. We're at 1,200 subscribers. Really fucking appreciate you guys. Keep liking, keep subscribing, doing the duties. You know what the fuck it is.
Even though all our episodes cannot be monetized, it's okay.
I know. I don't know. YouTube doesn't like
this one will. This one will.
But we like them, and this one will. Today we have Swish. What's up, brother? How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Listen, I mean, I think a lot of people know you, know who you are, what you do. But for anyone who's listening who doesn't, maybe just a little background on yourself, who you are, what you do, a little bit of the fun stuff, and we'll get into it.
I won't say anything that gets you guys demonetized. No.
Go nuts, bro. At this point, don't worry about it.
No, I'm an entrepreneur. I was born and raised in Singapore and Calgary, Alberta, two very different places.
Of course.
And I came to Toronto for my college days. Dropped out of my second year to start a company called Trufan that I've been working on for the last 4 years. It's now called Surf.
Yep.
And at a high level, Surf helps brands engage and understand consumers while compensating people for their data.
Dope.
So, you're sharing your data right now with Amazon, with Facebook, with Google.
Yep.
You're obviously not getting anything out of it except for ads. Pretty shitty value exchange, in my opinion.
Yep.
And so we decided to build a platform where people could get points. They could get those, points and use them for items, gift cards, coupons, charity. If they want to donate their points, they can do that too. And in exchange, we get their data and then can share it in an anonymized way. So no one will actually know where you browsed on the internet.
Okay.
But because the third-party cookies going away, brands do still want to understand user behavior on the internet, especially among audience segments.
Of course.
So 18 to 24-year-old males in Toronto, where are they going on the internet? That's the type of information we can provide that's entirely ethically sourced.
Wow.
So it's pretty neat doing that, but it's been a massive evolution.
Yeah.
Man.
When did you bring Trufan to life? Why did you bring it to life?
I honestly, was
that your first? Was that your first step into the world of entrepreneurship?
Not my first step, but definitely my first legitimate step.
Okay.
If you know what I mean,
Yeah,
right?
okay,
Where I was fully in it. It wasn't a half-ass effort. I feel like before I'd started things in college, but I was just doing it to see did it stick, and it didn't stick. It didn't stick. But with Trufan, initially I wanted to create it because basically, I had the initial idea of, every brand and celebrity now, it seems, has massive fan bases. But you have 2 million followers on Instagram. When you post, you're not hitting 2 million people.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a huge problem for a lot of people, is that their audience isn't actually indicative of the people they're able to hit or influence or reach.
Yeah.
So in that world, how can you go about filtering your audience and allow essentially any brand or creator to at least mobilize the most engaged followers they have? That's what we wanted to start off with, right?
Okay.
Even your 100 top fans. Can I show you that? And then there you can promote things, you can sell things directly to them, you can essentially activate them to go and get wild on your behalf.
Yeah, amazing.
And so that was the initial impetus 4 years ago. Our second year came around, brands were like, we love this. We love being able to look at our top fans on Instagram and Twitter. Those are the two platforms we initially started on. And they wanted to look at their competitors' top fans.
Wow.
So Nike wanted to look at Adidas, Coke wanted to look at Pepsi. So we built in that feature. Okay. And then in our third year, we realized, the whole world of marketing is moving away from third-party data, i.e. trackers and cookies are becoming more unpopular.
Yeah, of course.
Right? What is becoming more popular is I consent to giving you my data. But why would you ever do that right now?
No.
I don't actually see a reason why people should consent to give their data up, right?
Agreed.
I mean, personalization is great, but that shouldn't be a benefit. That should just be what's assumed now in the world, right? If you want to compete as a platform, you should personalize your feed for me.
Yes.
Regardless of my data. Based on what I'm clicking, go ahead, figure it out. Tell me what I need to be able to see first, that's fine. But if you want my data, especially private information, or if you want, very intrusive data, where I'm going on the internet, where I'm shopping, who I'm talking to, what photos I'm liking, you need to be able to open up your wallet and pay for it, right? And that's that's the whole principle we started off with. We ran giveaways for a long time. We were like, are people willing to share their data for the chance to win a prize? Yeah. We had over 1 million people share their data in a year and a half for the chance to win a prize. And we thought, okay, there's clearly something here. Why don't we double down on it. Instead of giving them the chance to win a prize, give them a guaranteed prize for their data.
Wow.
So it's been a constant evolution. When I say the last 4 years have been crazy, it's like one after the other, but all the lessons have been directly kind of coming from our customers or the market, and we've just been adapting and responding to it.
Or just looking what the competitor's not doing.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Wow.
Which all of them right now, like SimilarWeb, Comscore, Nielsen, they're all data providers, incredible companies, but they're all reliant on traffic panels or cookies that are, again, in my opinion, they're not going to be around in 5 to 6 years. They're not going to be sustainable.
Well, you're seeing all of these, I call it data wars happening with Facebook's getting killed. Apple's trying to do a couple things. So you see that's happening, that change is happening. Wow.
Totally. Consumer trust is changing too. So I think when you add in rewards, that's how do you track the rewards? How do you know how many rewards someone should get?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we have a model built out where we essentially want someone to be rewarded within their first month.
Okay.
Right. So the minimum reward, we will get you there within the first month.
Okay.
Beyond that, we allow people to get points for browsing the internet like normal. Right. So one of the cool things about our platform compared to any other platform that might reward you for your data is that we don't require you to, take surveys, watch ads, or change your browsing behavior in any way.
Nice.
It's supposed to be passive. You shouldn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
It's like an air miles card. Swipe, forget about it. All right, check back in when you can get that trip that you wanted.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing with Surf. Turn it on. Don't think about it. We'll email you when it's like, you're eligible for a reward. Check it out. So that's really cool because it means that people can easily get points for browsing. They can also get points for referring their friends. And then we have a ton of bonuses we give people randomly.
Yeah.
Like surprising and delighting people goes back to like the initial things we told brands 4 years ago to do with their top fans. We're doing it now with our early kind of
And they still haven't caught up. Like
no.
So is this is this a plugin? Is it okay?
An extension.
How does it work?
And
is
a
it an
browser
extension?
extension like Honey. If you use Honey, it's exactly like that. Chrome, Opera, Firefox. I threw Opera in there because I use it. No one else uses it.
No, there's some people Opera. People are like, bro, what's Opera? Yeah. I want to ask a question. When did the rebrand happen, and why?
So 2 weeks ago, actually, and the reason primarily why is confusion.
Yeah.
People were like, okay, well, what's Trufan and what's Surf? Because Surf was a product under Trufan, right?
Okay.
It was just a test. We wanted to see if it would work.
Yeah.
And 3 months in now, we're at about 60,000 users. We're growing about 5% day over day. Over 12,000 people on our wait list. Across like India, South Africa, Australia, Philippines, the United Kingdom. So we felt, okay, this is where the future of the company is going, which is we are going to be the place where first-party data lives on the internet, i.e. where ethical data is shared and where people can be compensated for sharing that data. We need to basically rebrand the entire company to fit that vision. And that was Surf and not Trufan. Yeah. So we decided to make, basically, Trufan obviously has been an analytics platform for the last 4 years. Nothing changes about the product just yet, but we wanted to make that Surf for brands. Yeah. In the same way you have Honey for brands, you have Drop for brands also.
So, and me speaking from let's say a potential investor perspective, you guys are then taking this data, selling it.
Correct.
Ethically, but also giving the I guess the person surfing, that's the trade-off, right?
That's the trade-off, and more importantly, I think even beyond compensation, we're giving transparency to people. So from day one, that we're sharing data. It's not like, I'm a Surf user, and 2 years later, you see an article being like, Surf is sharing your data, and you're like, what? In the onboarding, in the website, in the tutorial we give you, we tell you very clearly, hey, we share your data. Yeah. Check out, however, what we share. We have an activity log where every single piece of data that you've ever shared with us, you can edit, manage, delete it at any time. Cool. Right? So that level of transparency also shows our users that, hey, like we trust them, they trust us. We want to be a data partner to you. Yeah. And that's what Facebook, all these big companies, in my opinion, missed out on.
I feel like that's like, especially right now, people just want transparency across any industry. Like it could be anything, right? So if you're offering that, that's huge.
Well, I think also, I think Facebook, Instagram, whatever, they put it in there, but it's in the tiniest small print. You got to scroll
legal language. Might be in a different language.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. What? Swahili?
That's awesome. I read up that
crazy.
You guys raised $5 million for Surf. So I'm very curious as to like the process that goes into raising capital. Yep. And what your role is when doing that.
I mean, I manage and spearhead that. Again, my co-founder Onik is brilliant. He's someone who also dropped out of his second year of college.
Amazing. Love
He's a year younger. He was at Stanford at the time, and he basically manages a lot of the day-to-day operations when I'm fundraising. I definitely bring him in on certain conversations because I love having him with me. He can totally provide a different perspective that even I can't bring to the product especially. But yeah, that's my role primarily. It's fundraising, setting a vision for the company, managing the executive team at a high level. And then obviously if I need to be involved in sales or top line partnerships, I will on a monthly basis. But in terms of early on, one of the things I did fairly well in college was network. And the way I networked was, podcasting. I literally recorded a podcast called the Ask Rafiki Show on GarageBand. Recorded it on GarageBand and exported to sound. I think I might have been the only SoundCloud podcast at that time, bro.
What year was
OG podcast on SoundCloud, honestly.
Amazing.
And so I did that, and I think the reason I liked it, and obviously then I went into writing articles on LinkedIn about people, is because I realized that 99% of people in the world love talking about themselves. I am Exhibit A. Who doesn't like talking about themselves? So why not play to that kind of human nature, if you will, when you're reaching out to someone, instead of asking them for coffee, just say, hey, can I pick your mind for 10 to 15 minutes and write an article about you? And
so you're giving that value back.
Right away. Right away. You're not taking time away from someone, you're giving them something right away. And most people, again, they don't care about how many followers you have. They just want to be able to get their story out and then be able to share that to their community too. And as long as you're doing a good job about it, you're editing the video well, or you're writing the article well, it's a great value exchange. And then I can build a relationship from there.
And who knows?
Exactly.
I'm curious, what your team, how many people part of it? What does it look like? What's sort of the structure there?
So 42 people now, with 5 contractors that are based in the United States. So
Amazing.
It's a big team now. We were 13 people at the start of the pandemic. So we've grown during the pandemic, which is awesome.
Congratulations, that's
Thank
amazing.
you. But I know we're lucky, right? Like we're just in that type of business. I obviously, realize there's a bunch of businesses that did not do well during the pandemic, but we were just lucky that we're an online business. We help brands mainly look at their digital community, and that became even more important. Yeah.
Damn, 42. That's crazy.
Yeah. They're not going anywhere.
I have a question about just, do you see yourself as a leader to them? Are you more behind the scenes with the team? And how do you keep them motivated to kind of understand the same vision you and your partner have? I think that's super important.
I think 2 things. I'm a very hands-on CEO. I think everyone would probably say that. I, every 2 months do a town hall. And that's a great way to re-emphasize the vision. Okay, guys, here are key milestones coming up in March and April. Here's what we absolutely need to hit. By the way, visibility even into fundraising, here's what we need to hit. X, Y, Z goals. This is what you can do to help me while I can help you.
A lot of goal
setting, right? And it's all coming from me directly in a town hall, then re-emphasized through execs to the department through a platform we use called Cohen for goals and OKRs. So that's been great. Other than that, though, I generally do feel like I'm very present. Like you can probably find me on Slack at any time, like literally any time, and I do try to plug away, something I've been trying to do for the last year is focus a lot more on my health, working out, sleeping on time. Definitely not doing that one part.
That's tough,
but at the same time, like I've been trying to take, eat right, all of that. So, it's not like I don't take breaks, but I definitely am very plugged into what I do. And I think the reason why is because in my second year of starting Trufan, I didn't feel like I was that hands-on, and I definitely had employees tell me, okay, you need to lead by example. And they gave me that harsh advice. I had employees leave in our second year because they didn't feel like they were being supported. So it's again, you can be a great entrepreneur, you can start something, but management, totally different beast, and I've had to learn that the hard way.
How old are you right now?
24.
My next one. First of all,
true, but at the same time, I mean,
but you know what? The one question I had, and it kind of bounces off what Ernesto was saying was, I'm sure you have employees that are older than you.
100%.
We're in the same situation. How has that been for anybody listening, right? Because we've come into situations where we've had to think about how we approach certain conversations, right, and whatnot. Because like you are speaking to someone who's older than you. So sometimes, not every time, but sometimes there may be that kind of awkwardness of like, hey, I'm 24 years old,
ego thing or whatever.
You know what I mean, right? So how do you go about dealing with that?
I think one is hiring the right people who like they want to learn from me and I want to learn from them, right? Because like though I am 24, like I do that there are a lot of things I don't know a lot about, and there are a few things I know a ton about, right? And so there's clearly stuff that I can help even the 35 and 40 and 45-year-old employees we have. The second thing I candidly think is just letting people have their space to shine. This idea of let A players be A players. I mean, it's said a lot, but like not a lot of people actually do it. So for me, I used to actually go with the model of, okay, I'm going to help you and hold your hand because we're going to ensure you don't make a mistake. That was me 2 years ago. Now, fly, go.
Yeah. Give them the kind of
right.
power.
If you make a mistake, we'll figure it out. Like unless you make a really bad mistake, and then okay, all right, we got to talk.
So you're kind of learning not to micromanage so much and just give them the freedom.
Exactly, and that's also come with then me being able to now outline my responsibilities. Which when I was going through them, like you heard, team management specifically with the exec team, fundraising, setting vision, or high level top line partnerships. All of that is very high level work.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need to now be like, okay, I need to track down invoices. I need to go ahead and, work with the product team on what the next sprints need to be, what exactly goes into each one. I trust that I have an A-list team here. And as long as they continue to trust me, we're going to be good.
Of course. Trust is huge.
It's huge.
We had Michael Weggerly tell us on this podcast, the episode hasn't come out yet, but he said, fire fast, hire slow.
I loved it. I was going to get it tatted that day.
And I was like, it makes sense. And it kind of touches on what you're saying in terms of not the firing aspect, but more the hiring thing. Just, be very involved in the hiring process and know who you're bringing on the team to make sure. Because, man, we know how it is even with what we have here, right? And not as big, but in terms of it's our baby. And I'm sure it is the same situation for you, right? So you have this feeling of wanting to walk your team through step by step everything. But there's a point where you got to say, I've hired this person because I trust them. I know they know the vision. Like we got to leave the coop. You know what I mean?
And the best thing is the baby, yes, it's technically mine and Onik, but the baby, by looks and appearance, I mean, it definitely didn't come from us. It came from our customer feedback. It came from our team. Surf, Onik had the initial idea, but where it is now, that's our team. Even I couldn't have thought of XYZ features. Let's include charities. Let's put out discount codes in 2 weeks, hopefully, which we'll get out. And all of these ideas came from the team directly. So that's what happens when you trust them, when you don't insinuate or impose your own vision on them again and again. Is you let them have a bit more freedom to think for themselves, provide ideas. I think, I'm pretty blunt. If I don't like your idea, I'll tell you. But I don't shy, I don't tell people okay, now go back to your work. Stop giving me ideas. I'm just I don't think that's a great idea. Maybe you refine it and come back to me, right? And that's fine.
Has there been some big ideas that you've taken from your team that you've been of course, right?
100%. The rebrand. Cool. The rebrand was one of the things that our marketing team told us. They were this is tough. Sales is having a hard time pitching 2 products when it's technically they should only really be pitching 1. So I was interesting. And then we had a giveaways platform, right, that we did our initial test on called Player. And even that's being rebranded now to Surf giveaways, right? So all of this stuff came about because the marketing team was hello, we have a problem. We have a problem. Listen to me before the holidays. And then we built a plan to be able to get there, right? So one of the things I like is that if I really want to do something, I know it'll get done, right? And I like to take that energy and I like to then, basically put it on the other execs to make sure that, okay, I'm behind this. Let's go. Let me know what you need. I'll come on any call to motivate anyone. I will do any of the work needed as well. I'll be there for you, right? Let's go. Let's get it done, especially if it's a big task like a rebrand.
Of course. I want to jump into your success with LinkedIn for a little bit. I'm a big fan of LinkedIn.
I love LinkedIn.
So let's talk about what kind of collaborations and partnerships you made. I know you were co-founder of LinkedIn Local as well,
correct,
and also a top LinkedIn voice, I believe, right? So talk to us about that relationship, how that went down. Because that's super unique. That's cool, man.
So I started posting on LinkedIn 2015.
Ooh,
and
early
days.
Gary V
I'm
days.
telling you, I actually messaged Gary V. I have an email, which it's a really cool email. I met him in 2015 as well, but he wasn't posting that actively on LinkedIn. I think a year later in 2016, I emailed him. I'm like, hey man, you really got to check LinkedIn out.
Wow.
You really got to check LinkedIn out. He was like, we're on it. Our team is on it.
That's amazing, dude.
Do we have to Gary V on LinkedIn? I was going to say, holy shit, okay.
But I obviously, I bet he had that idea already, but to be fair, I was in the days when I remember posting, the only other Canadian creator posting was a woman named Michaela Alexis from Ottawa.
Okay.
Other than that, when I was on LinkedIn, I saw people looking for a job, promoting pyramid schemes or scams. And that's it. Those were the only 2 things.
That's amazing.
So I felt okay, I'm mainly the only college student talking on LinkedIn. What can I do? So I started interviewing people. I had a LinkedIn article series called #Unconventional, right? I interviewed Lewis Howes or Mark Cuban or Michael Hyatt, put their story out. Most of the time, I didn't even get on an interview call with them. I literally just sent them the questions. They emailed me back answers, copy, paste, put an article, share. That was Mark Cuban. Literally, I emailed him. Cold emailed him.
That's amazing.
Right? Cold emailed markcuban@gmail.com.
That's what I like to see.
The guy actually checks his email. I don't know what software he uses, but the man checks his email, and it's ridiculous. And I really appreciate it. And And so did that, started then to kind of get a little bit of, internet fame, if you will, right?
Yeah.
I think it was like around 1,000 followers. People were like around me being like, why are you posting on LinkedIn? Like all our student gang is posting on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever, right? Facebook even. Oh, geez. And so I was like, no, but I feel like there's something here. Like I feel like everyone who's looking for a job or who's talking about hiring or even like talking about work, they're coming onto LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Why is it that they're not good content creators here? Like actually sharing good stories, collaborating with other people, making people go deeper in terms of what they share. So one of the things I did early on was I joined the LinkedIn Campus Editor program as well.
Okay.
Cool. So then that means that LinkedIn started to like basically promote my posts for me. Anytime I talked about mental health, productivity, procrastination, issues that were relevant to students.
Of course.
That amplified me.
Yeah.
Then I started collaborating with other LinkedIn creators. Went to Ottawa, met up with Michaela Alexis, did a video with her. We did a hashtag Let's Get Honest campaign where we got people to post a video, 1 minute, share something, a vulnerability you have in the workplace. Tag 3 people and pass it on, nominate people. We had over 26 million views from that campaign overall. LinkedIn put it as a part of their subsection, right?
Yeah.
So this was all within the first 5 months of just literally just saying, I'm going to go all in on LinkedIn. I don't care what other platform there is out there. I really think there's something here.
Sorry, just to cut you, like LinkedIn, when they saw you doing this, they reached out to you?
Yeah, so LinkedIn's Campus Editor program, Maya Chappelle, she reached out saying, I see that you're posting a lot. We're trying to start this program. Do you want to be part of the pilot program?
That's cool.
Right?
Cool.
And again, this is just the benefits of putting yourself out there.
Yes.
You never know what might happen. You
Who's
never know
watching,
who's watching, what message you might get, how it might change your life. And I'm so happy I got that because LinkedIn candidly has changed my life.
Yeah.
A lot of things, the people I was able to hire, the opportunities in terms of customers, investors, the ability to speak a lot, the ability to have a book. My book deal actually came through LinkedIn as well.
Come on.
Hogan Page messaged me on LinkedIn and then emailed me after. So all of that was because of LinkedIn.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of LinkedIn.
This guy's been telling me for 3-4 years. He's been telling me.
I was a bit later than you, but I think maybe 2019, 2018. I was like, Ant, I'm like, there's so many people on LinkedIn, but no one's posting anything. They're just watching.
No content.
Literally,
not enough
I think it's 80 million monthly active users currently on LinkedIn, and this was the stat from 2021. So I don't know, maybe it's outdated now, but it might be closer to 100 million. But 80 million monthly active users and less than 5% of people post on a weekly basis.
That's what I'm saying.
So
that's growth. So when you were doing it, it was probably
way less.
0.5%.
Way less.
Right?
But
so,
even now it's early. Like it's crazy.
100%. I think it's a great platform. But my next question is now this probably pushed you into public speaking. I'm guessing, right? Which you have a passion for, right?
Yeah, indeed.
So let's talk about the public speaking, how that came about, and why you enjoy it so much. Like maybe what fulfillment you get out of it.
So LinkedIn definitely helped me with public speaking, but in terms of just speaking overall, I was doing debate in junior high and high school.
Love that. Okay.
That was my main thing. When I was in grade 7, my brother was in grade 12. He had won the World Debate Championships for Team Canada in Qatar, 2010, sir.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, well, fuck.
I gotta do something.
High bar here. Shit. Cricket, basketball, volleyball. Is there anything else I could do, baby? So I was playing sports in junior high, and then in high school, I kind of doubled down on debate. Okay. And so I joined the national team when I was in grade 10. I was on the reserve squad, so didn't debate at the World Championship in my grade 11 year, but I was able to go. I was able to experience, we were in Thailand. We made it to the semifinal and lost to South Africa. But it was a really cool experience to be able to at least be part of the training camp and then be able to just go and watch what international debate looks like. What is that caliber? In my grade 12 year, I got put onto the main team, and it was really neat, because I was able to debate in Stuttgart, in where else did we go? We went all across the United States. We went to Bermuda. We went to Mexico. We went to Argentina.
Crazy.
Every weekend, basically, I was somewhere else, right? So school took a backseat, I went from being a 90 student in junior high to being a mid 80s, low 80s student in high school.
Still better than me.
Trust me, man, I got an Indian mom though. It's true. You're not cutting it if you get below a 95. But at the same time, in my grade 12 year, then I got to, go to the World Championship. It was in Singapore.
Wow.
My first time coming back ever since I left.
Hometown vibes,
Wow.
Hometown vibes, you know, it was the 50th anniversary for Singapore. It was a nationally televised event, which was a terrible idea in my opinion in retrospect. Like, let's put a couple of nerdy debaters and have cameras right in their face, you know, that's not going to make them nervous. But we made it to the final. We lost, sadly. But the topic was on universal basic income.
Wow.
And the reason I love that is because it's kind of full circle with surf.
Yeah.
Because one of the ideas that was brought up in that debate was data sharing as a form of maybe creating the foundation of how people could maybe get some money, some value through it.
Yeah.
And so it was so neat because that kind of experience, even though we lost, I cried. It's one of the, you know, like it still hurts to this very day to like lose a grand final after you devote like 5-6 years of your life to debate. It was cool because I took so much away from it. The community, the content that I learned, the reading I was doing every week to be prepared, you know, like the confidence that I basically built up with speaking. Because again, I have a lisp. It wasn't something that came easy to me.
Of course.
You know, I had to kind of adjust, learn to like be comfortable in my own voice, in my own skin, and debate taught me that.
Yeah. How did you gain that kind of confidence though? Because that's like, you know, that's not a podcast or anything like that. Like, and you were young too, right? So what kind of moments were you having that you were like, yo, I got to keep pushing?
There were two funny moments that came. I did a speech therapy in my grade 7 year. And I just remember like being in speech therapy thinking, why is it that people like around me feel like I have a problem? Like, you know, it doesn't feel like a problem. Like, and I think one of the things I started to realize is maybe what isn't important is how I sound. Maybe what's more important is what I say.
Yes.
I thought instead of, you know, thinking too much about how I sound, maybe I should, you know, think about what I'm saying. How am I, you know, training my mind essentially to be more witty, to think more on the spot, to be able to provide more content essentially in my debate. And the second cool kind of experience was in my grade 9 year. I was named the top debater in my province, went to nationals, and at nationals, a judge told me, he's like, Swish, you're an unbelievable debater. Great job. I can't wait until you get your retainer out. I was like, oh man, come on, bro. That was like one of the moments where I was like, oh yeah, shit, I have a lisp. I forgot about that because I like grade 8, grade 9, I'm like cruising. I'm like, who cares? It matters what I say. And that was just funny. It's funny to look back, but it's definitely gotten a lot better because I think I've just put myself in that uncomfortable position.
You have to.
You know, when I was in grade 7, R's even were hard for me. Right, like not just S's, but even R's. I couldn't, you know, say. I said va, not r, or whatever. So it was a little bit tough, but debate definitely helps me in terms of getting over some of it.
I got respect for that, bro, because a lot of people would have just quit. They would have just said, well, maybe speaking's just not for me. Okay, cool.
No, but I like that. I like that a lot. That's really cool.
I want to ask also, like, when you're in this position, and I'm going back to the debating because you were so young, right? Like, I'm super interested in how you're learning all these things on the go. Like, are you teaching yourself? Are you learning from a mentor? Are you looking up to your brother? Like, what's happening in that sense? Because you're gaining so much information, right?
It's my brother, honestly. My brother, he, you know, I think the funny thing is to the outside world, when he won Worlds and then when I got into debate, throughout, man, I always used to be compared to my brother, right? Like, course, oh man, you're Vinu's brother, you're going to do great. Oh, you're Vinu's brother? Damn, I feel sorry for you, dude. Like literally people used to tell me that, like, oh my God. But like what they didn't realize is he was like my biggest asset. You know, like every time I went home, anytime I wanted, I could call him. Anytime I had an issue, I could email him and quickly say, can you take a look at my case? What do you think? Is it tight? Like, that was the benefit. And he has no ego. He loves me to death. I love him to death. We're competitive for sure, but we're not competitive against each other.
Healthy competition.
Exactly. It's like he'll call me out if he feels like I'm not going hard enough, and I'll call him out if I feel like he's half-assing something too.
Cool.
But like we're not competing necessarily with each other, unless it's like cricket or basketball. And so that was really neat. It's because like he basically taught me everything. And I think more importantly than like content or style, because I have something of a different style than he does. He taught me discipline. Like if you really want this, he has something that he says, don't eat the marshmallow, which is like most people when they want to be great at something, they're totally cool with focusing for 1 week. And then, you know, a bunch of distractions come up and they lose focus. If you really want to be great at something, don't eat the marshmallow and constantly keep that in your head. You know, you literally cannot let any distraction come in your way. And so that was something that's even stuck with me now. Like, you know, I think in my first and second year of college, I was all over the place. I think over the last 4 years, I've become more and more focused in what I really want to do, and definitely in surf.
I'm curious. This is now a little bit off of that topic, but you do a lot of different investments. You're invested in a lot of different things. So I kind of just wanted to get into that a little bit.
Ajax Capital?
Ajax,
Ajax. What's the word with Ajax? What are you guys doing there? What are you invested in? What's the focus of the firm? What's the situation there?
So it was 2007. I know, classic 2007. Rainy Tuesday. No kidding. 2007 in July, and I wrote basically like a pamphlet, if you will. At home in Calgary, I wrote like, I want to start a business and I want to call it Ajax. And the first project under Ajax was a hotel called Royal Palace. It was just a fictional palace I made up. I was a charismatic kid, watched a lot of Bollywood movies, thought this could be the next big thing. I didn't do anything with the idea, but I still have those books in my cabinet. So I think Ajax was cool to me because like Ajax, age 10, like I think it was cool because when I look back at it, it was kind of like one of the first moments where like I was like, I think business is awesome and I want to do it. I'd actually still, even at that age, never thought that entrepreneurship could be a full-time career. I thought you had to be like born in wealth or like, go and like, have a full-time job, be an investment banker, then launch a business with capital. So I didn't even know that this path was something that I could do. But like when it was coming kind of to the point now where I can invest in other companies, I thought Ajax would be an amazing vehicle to do that through. So mainly investing in esports, mental health, or anything really that tangibly affects social media. Those are like kind of the three main areas. Beyond that, I will, do an investment if I think the founder is awesome or if I really like them and they're magnetic. But those are kind of the three main kind of areas of focus.
That's interesting though. Like you said, you invest in the founders as well. Like in their,
it's early stage,
in their vision.
Like someone could show me a slide deck, I'd be like, that's awesome. But at the end of the day, like you're the one that's going to take those words and make it reality.
So you're just basing off, I guess, their character and their passion for, I guess, whatever they're talking about.
Have other people told me about them, like after talking to them, do I feel like I could actually get along with them? Of course. Could I go out for a beer with them? Could I give them feedback and they'd listen? That's the type of stuff.
That's dope. Okay, so now for my favorite part, you invested in FaZe, right? I fucking love FaZe. I'm a big swag fan. Fucking what a G. But I saw that and that caught my eye, obviously, right? Because I think the gaming space is huge. I think it's only going to get bigger. So I want to know how that caught your eye and why you think maybe the gaming space is a good space to invest in.
So, I mean, I got to credit my co-founder Onik here because he's been into esports for the last 8-9 years. He got me into gaming early. He was the top 2% in Black Ops 3. Wow. This guy's cracked. He's absolutely cracked. Right now he's in Onyx. He's in like the top 2% in Halo Infinity right now. But he's an absolute demon. He got me to Call of Duty. We were both playing Black Ops 4, and then I started playing Destiny 2 with him, which was kind of cool to see the news about Bungie getting acquired. And then we started playing a lot of other games. Fortnite obviously came up. Warzone came up. And during that time, we were working at a Round 13 Capital here in Toronto because they invested in us. We had just moved to Toronto. And FaZe Clan came up as a deal for Round 13. They didn't really know anything about esports. So they were like, Onik, come in, give us a lecture on esports. I sat in on that actually. And it was really cool because being able to hear Onik's thoughts about the industry, why it's just going to do so well, what 11 to 15-year-old kids right now are doing, what is it going to look like when they turn 22, when they turn 26, when they turn 30. That was all really cool. Eventually, Round 13 actually passed on the opportunity, but it was really cool because the partner there was like individually, actually, some of us might put in some money. Would you guys like to come in? So Onik and I were able to come in. We were able to talk to Greg, who was their former president, and then kind of get in touch with some of the gamers. So like Abizi, for example, in their Call of Duty team, like it was awesome. I would never DM these guys to play with me because wouldn't want the smoke. But oh my god, like I just find esports to be such a underrated field in terms of talent. These kids are so talented. People think it's video games and
they're entertainers. They're entertainers.
It's hard work, man. Like even now with F1, like I'm trying to get really into it, right?
How are you going off?
Like, oh my god,
it is so frustrating.
Everything. I'm improving on it almost every month, but like
on first lap, how far you can get?
Literally, man.
I'm watching you, bro. I'm watching you.
Last night, I think I spent 4 hours doing the Australian Grand Prix on time trial to try to see if I could get a 123, which I finally did. I'm gonna post about it today. There we go. But like, I started at a 126. I got so mad. My arms were tired. Literally, I felt so.
Actually in the race,
like literally, and I was telling my mom this, and she's like, "What the? You're like, what are you talking about? Not even driving a real car." And I'm like, "But you don't get it." Like, but people just think it's a video game, but it's not. It's like there's so much to it.
No, bro, these guys are streaming 12, 14 hours a day, 15 hours a day. There's consistently 20,000 people watching them all day.
And there's so many things they're thinking about, managing strategy, their play, their team. It's crazy.
So when you invest in someone like FaZe, what are you guys coming in and doing? Is it just a monetary kind of investment? Is it now strategy consulting? What is it?
So right now it's monetary primarily. Though to be fair, we do promote obviously all their new merch if they have any. We're trying to connect the organization directly to opportunities, whether it's for sponsorship or whether it's even for our platform, being able to look at their top fans for their talent. So that's been great. But right now, it's pretty hands off because they do have obviously so many other investors. They have so many bigger investors. In terms of value, I think there's things we can provide, but I bet they can find that from other people too.
Yeah, is that usually what the case is, like just monetary, or do you ever go in there and kind of like let's say restructure a whole business?
I did that actually recently for a company called Share. They initially started off as a company helping students alleviate student debt through income sharing agreements. So they would basically say, okay, we'll give you a loan. You don't have to pay back this loan until you get a job. If you get a job, you just take a percentage of your income and share it to us. They actually pivoted though. They pivoted into becoming a benefits platform for employers to pay down student debt on behalf of their employees.
Oh, right on.
And they built an automated platform for that. And it was really cool because that whole pivot was something I worked with them very hands-on on. Okay, like the name, do we have to change that? Logo, mission statement, who do we have to hire? Any early investors that we have to bring in terms of actually thinking about the product. How do we go about building it out? Who do we get on board? Like all of that was something I spent probably March till May of 2021 working with them on a very kind of like daily basis, if you will. But that was also because I really like those guys, and now they're flying. Like they're about to close a round and they're doing great, and I can be more hands off now. But I just wanted to kind of see them succeed because I really liked them. I really liked them. I felt like they had good energy. They were in it for the right reasons.
100%. So I was talking to my mom yesterday, and I was telling her about the guest I had coming on. So I was reading her your bio, right?
Oh, God. God.
And I'm just going, I think I was talking for 10 minutes just trying to finish your bio. And then I finished it off with saying, and he's 24. And then my mom kind of just looked. She's like, that's like a resume you hear about when someone's finished their career.
When they're dead.
When they're dead, bro. So she was shocked. And she had a question for you, which I do too. And it's just what is your day-to-day like? How are you managing all these things at once?
Right.
And how do you have time to still play video games?
Yeah, man. It's
which I love, by the way.
Thank you. It's a very unglamorous lifestyle, honestly. On the weekends, maybe a little bit more because I get to go out finally in Toronto. Jesus.
It's another story.
Another story. On the weekdays, though, man, it's I get up around 9:30. I'll have my banana milk, and then from there, I literally get into internal calls in the morning normally. So daily stand-ups with the marketing team or directly with any execs that want to have a stand-up with me. I'll do that. I'll go through my email. I'll make sure I go through Slack, get back to anyone that needed me. And then in the afternoon, I normally take external calls. Right? So external calls would include potential investors, potential clients, big partners. Any of those calls, I would take it in the afternoon. I like to finish up around 4:30. And by finish up, I mean temporarily.
Until something else comes.
Right? Because then I want to either go for a run, I want to lift weights, I want to take some time off, talk to my friends, whatever it is. I'll do that kind of around 4:30 to 7, if you will. And then I'll come back, have dinner, and continue to work throughout the night. Normally finish up around 10:30, and then obviously game, right? So that's me. But 99% of my week is surf. Because every other aspect of my life is being managed by other people, really, right? Like speaking, there's a bureau in Toronto called Speaker Spotlight. They handle everything on my behalf. The book, obviously, the publisher, social media. Once in a while, I will do it myself, but I also have someone that's helping me with content and posting it, right? In terms of comments, though, I love doing that on my own. That's my favorite part.
Very personal,
My favorite part is getting back to people directly, especially in LinkedIn, going back in the comments, reaching out to each person, saying thank you even. That's my special sauce, right? Of how I build community. So everything else is being managed by other people, which makes it so that my main focus can literally just be surf and my health, and that's it.
I'm curious with surf. Was there ever a time when you were actually executing more on the ground level stuff? And if so, how long were you doing that until you finally got that opportunity to now step back and be more of an overseeing, we'll call it managerial?
I think during COVID, it was really tough, because everyone was afraid about their jobs. We didn't know how we were going to scale. Again, we were 13 people at the start of the pandemic. We're now, over 40. And I think the reason we were able to scale is because basically my co-founder and I came in and said, we're going to work on all of these tasks with you directly. Cool. We're going to hold each person here accountable. We're going to have, instead of one team call a week, we're going to do 2 team calls a week. Every 3 weeks, we're going to do a paranoia session. We renamed it to a hopes and fears session now, but it's essentially a session where anyone can come out and share their vulnerabilities in an open table. Nice.
Cool.
You know, it doesn't matter if you're an intern or an exec. If you have any doubts, hopes, excitement, fears, share them out in the open. Cool. And we want to hear from you, right? And we take that away then and build out, breakout sessions or discussion rooms after where people can talk about it on a more in-depth basis. But all of that came about through the pandemic, and literally me and Anik being very on the ground, day to day, basically working with the team. And even now, there are times where I will still do that, especially if I feel like we're behind on pushing out a product feature or pushing out a rebrand, which we haven't had an issue with that, so I'm very happy about that. But if I feel like we're behind, I will get involved. I'll tell people, what's going on? Where can I help? How can we get this going quicker? I'll write up a blog if I need to. I'll write up a press release if I need to. I'll do the gritty work. But I'll only do that, I think, if we're getting a little bit behind. Because again, like I said, I want to give our team the space to be able to do the work on their own.
You have to have your own space to kind of do what's best for the company to keep moving, right?
Fundraising, all of that is very important. And again, fundraising is a full-time job in my opinion. It is so tough to do that while doing other things.
I ask you that's something that, again, even with us, our growth, that's something that we've been trying to figure out more and more is how to step off of that, call it quote-unquote gritty work, right? It's a tough thing to do, right? It's a tough thing to do, but I was just curious in terms of if you ever were doing that or not. But I have a question, and this is, let's say with your investment in esports phase, obviously you guys were very early in that. Congratulations, amazing fucking investment.
Thank you.
But what are now in terms of being early? What are your thoughts on the crypto space? What are your thoughts on NFTs, the metaverse? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Are you invested? Are you in it already?
Totally.
What's the situation?
I had a good convo with Maddie about the metaverse yesterday, and it was funny because he's like, I just don't get it. I don't get the point. And I was like, you know what? Respect. Most people I don't think get it really. I'll start with crypto. I'm very bullish on crypto. I think the reason I'm bullish on crypto is, one, you can clearly see the fear of big banks over how much they've been able to get away with. On the most basic level, if I'm wiring money to you, I shouldn't have to pay a $40 fee.
I know.
That is the most fundamental thing that should not exist in a peer-to-peer system. So I love crypto. I love Bitcoin in particular because of the potential impact it could have on developing countries in particular too.
Agreed.
There are places in the world where people don't have the proper identification to create a bank account. They don't have a Swift code. They can't wire money because they don't even have a bank account. For them, I think crypto and especially digital wallets are going to be a form of economic freedom. That's going to be a way for them finally to engage in a marketplace where they can invest their money, they can send their money, they can keep their money, they don't have to keep it under their bed, they have it in a secure place. That is going to happen at some point. In NFT side, I'm definitely involved. I've definitely bought a few NFTs. I think it's the FOMO got to me.
Me too,
oh my God, you bought a pigeon? Let me buy a horse. I don't know. But
you gotta see ours too. We're fucking
literally right. I'm like, holy shit, this pigeon's one of one. I'm like, all right. Say less. I'll buy it right now. How much? I think for me though, I'm very bullish on utility NFTs, which is something I've been trying to coin. I don't think it's catching on yet, but what I mean by that is, Drop, actually a loyalty program in Toronto, they are doing a NFT with Amazon, where Amazon and Drop are putting out an NFT, and the NFT holders will get 10% off Amazon for 1 year. Of all purchases for holding the NFT. Now that's amazing. It's a win-win-win because obviously, every time someone, makes a sale now, they get that 10% discount. They also will get money when they sell the NFT. And then obviously Drop and Amazon will take a cut when that NFT is sold as well to the royalty fee. That's genius. That's amazing. What I don't believe in are the NFTs that are literally just the pigeons, right? Buy this pigeon.
Pixelated fucking.
Exactly. This is I'm gonna post this on my Slack group with 20,000 people. We'll hype it up, and then 2 months from now, we don't really know where we're going, right? So if you don't have a clear roadmap, I generally don't really think it's a worthwhile investment. And then in terms of the metaverse, I'm bullish on it. I don't know, personally speaking, if I think it's a good idea. I think we've learned in the last 5 to 10 years the impact that social media has had on people's mental health, on how depression rate and suicide rates in the United States among teenage girls has gone up drastically in the last 10 years. We have seen directly the impact that social media has had in terms of people feeling less connected even to other people around them, feeling like the world is more fabricated and artificial. Do I think that now taking that and immersing ourselves entirely into a virtual world is a good idea? It doesn't sound right to me, So
I'm with you.
All I'm saying is I hope that we learn from the lessons from the last 5 to 10 years and build a metaverse, quote unquote, that is inclusive, accessible, and please don't put a bunch of ads in it.
Yeah.
Please don't overly monetize it because it's just going to be a terrible place to be.
I was reading something where it's like they're planning to have like 90% of your screen
banners and stuff or whatever. And I'm like, that's also why I think Surf is so important, because data is going to be even more important in the metaverse,
100%.
right? Like you should be compensated when you're in the metaverse for whatever data you're sharing.
That's something you guys can adapt to, right?
100%.
Going in there and saying,
100%.
But I like what you said about do we need it?
Yeah.
And I think that's an important point about it, bullish or not.
Yeah.
If there's anything we can learn over the last 10, 15 years is sometimes just because we can create some type of technology, some form of technology, do we really need it? And is it really going to bring value to society as a whole? And that's a question that I personally have been arguing with myself with on the metaverse, because I also am bullish on it. I do think there is some utility for it. I do think there could be some good utility for it, but do we need it?
And that's pretty much it, right? And that's why, like, in a world where I'm seeing so much VC money getting poured into Web3 and into NFTs and all of that, like, I get it, but like, again, maybe it's because with Surf now, I feel like we're very purpose-driven. Like we're actually trying to solve a real-world problem.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if some of these projects are candidly solving a real-world problem.
I mean, at that point, like if you have the tech and you're just trying to follow the money, why would you stop?
Yeah.
Like some Web3 projects are really cool,
of course,
but most of the ones I see get funded candidly. Like the first book in business, like the first rule in business story is like solve a problem for people that they feel intensely. The more intense the problem, the better off you will be. Airbnb, Uber, all these companies solved real world problems. And I still don't know if I see a lot of these Web3 projects solving a real world problem.
And I guess VCs are pouring money because they all want to be first to market, right? If we can hop on the project that blows up first,
100%,
like we're laughing, right?
It's totally capitalistic for them. And that's fine. They're a VC. They have to do
that's
that.
The point,
And good for them, honestly, for the ones that made a lot of money. I just, again, like I look at a lot of other projects where I feel like, hey, these guys are tackling, like let alone Web3, let's get some countries in the world to Web2, right? Like, and I look at those projects, I'm like, they're underfunded now. I don't know. It's such a hard thing to talk about, but at the same time, like, I have a lot of respect for people that are building in the Web3 space because it's so new. It's so, it's
a big chance,
such a big
risk,
change, a lot of risk. Exactly. And like, it definitely feels like the early Facebook days, I would imagine, for a lot of people, which is why they're jumping in fully like committed and excited. So I don't want to kill that excitement. I just, again, I want people to think of, not only human centric design, but like you said, why are we building this? If we can constantly just as a society, as an economy, as an industry, as a person, think about that, I think we'll be fine. But I just don't want a Social Dilemma Part 2 documentary coming out in 10 years 100%. Being like, I knew it. I told you guys all 15 years ago about social media. Now it's all intensified because of the metaverse. Like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, we always find out later.
We always find out later. Always.
And okay, go ahead.
No, because it's kind of connected to this a little bit. What are your thoughts on mental health as an entrepreneur? How do you stay quote unquote sane? How do you keep your mental health in check? What are some things you do that help you make sure that you're grounded, you're cool, you're level headed? And
this is a lot I've thought about. I mean, in late 2021, anxiety was something I had to deal with at a pretty intense level for the first time in my life. And it was anxiety that was related to a few things in my life, personal and professional, but it was also anxiety that I just felt like I was untrained to deal with. And it was ironic because I'd been talking about mental health before that, right? And I was constantly telling people, you got to surround yourself with the best people. Don't be afraid to do therapy. Don't be afraid, by the way, to admit that there's something wrong with yourself, right? And don't, by the way, even think that it's wrong. Like, just think like there's an opportunity now for me to feel better. And here's X, Y, Z things that I can do. And it was funny because I found myself ignoring a lot of the tips that I shared during some of the, right? Like I was like, you know, I was keeping myself insulated from people. I wasn't open to people about my anxiety. I wasn't telling anyone about it. Like all of those things did not help me until I think I finally opened up to my co-founder. I opened up to my mother, and that helped me, you know. And like, again, you know, I'm doing therapy right now, you know, and like, I love it.
Yeah.
I think most people should do therapy, you know, like, because now my therapy isn't even just about anxiety, it's about everything.
Yeah.
Like I have a terrible week, I can talk to my therapist about it.
Yeah.
And she has this objective viewpoint. You know, like she doesn't love me.
Of course.
Yeah.
She doesn't like,
she's like a third
right?
party.
She's
just
a third party.
Yeah.
She's like, let me
No
tell you what I
emotion,
think,
yeah.
X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Here's what you should do. What do you think?
Which is the difference in talking to your mom or talking to
exactly. So I really enjoyed it, but I think mental health as an entrepreneur is one of the most important things to keep in the back of your mind. Is at the end of the day, burnout is real. You know, if you are going 1,000 miles per hour, eventually it will catch up to you. But more importantly, if you candidly like ever feel like, okay, I don't enjoy what I'm doing, or I am really burnt out, or I don't even know where I'm going in life, these questions are things you should deal with right away.
Yeah.
Don't put it in the back of your mind saying, well, I'm busy though, I can't think about it right now.
Which is easy to do.
Right? Which is
really
very easy to do.
Yeah.
But take time out, even if it's on a Sunday, for an hour to like journal, to like even do an audio note to yourself.
100%.
Whatever it is you need to process your week and even process some of those thoughts when they come up, do it. Because it will help over time to feel like you're in control of your mind and your body.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, that internal dialogue is so fucking important.
Yeah.
And yeah, you because as entrepreneurs that are going 1,000 miles per hour 24/7.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of the times you're just like, you have this fucking deep internal question about your life, yourself, where you're going, whatever, and you're just like, yeah, but I gotta send this email. I gotta fucking, you know what I mean? But I have to respond to this. No, you put it well. And before we ask our famous question, you know, dude, you're a really young guy. Like, again, congratulations on all your success. It's fucking super impressive.
Me feel old, bro.
No, man. It's very inspiring for me, honestly. But if you had to, I want to say one thing. If you could, you know, say one thing that has helped you reach this success, and maybe it doesn't have to be one thing, but if you could narrow it down to one thing, that's going to be tough. What would you say? What one thing would it be that you would, you know, say that helped you get to where you are?
I think persistence, candidly. Like there was nothing else other than persistence. I define that as hard work plus patience. And for me, like, I'm not a genius. I don't have any like special attributes, I think, to me. Candidly, like I just know that. But like what I do know is that when it comes to working hard, I can do that probably harder than most people. When it comes to sticking it out, especially during really tough days or where I don't know if things are actually going to lead anywhere, I know I can do that longer than most people. And when it comes to putting myself out there and being just relentless about it and being overly confident about who I am and being comfortable in telling people about who I am, I know I can do that better than most people. And that's really made all the difference.
Yeah.
Just got to know yourself.
Yeah.
No, that's a big piece of it.
That's
but
pretty much what it is.
But it's persistence. I like what you said. Persistence is hard work, but also patience.
It really is both, man. And I think for me, like even now, I still have like times where I'm like impatient.
Yeah.
But like I used to be a kid when I was like, you know, 10, 15, 18, I'd set like goals where I want to be when I'm 25, 30, 35. I stopped doing that like as of I think 2 years ago, because I was like, this is creating way too much pressure for me. Like I feel like, and that's the thing, 18-year-old entrepreneurs, they're like, I need to join Y Combinator, and I need to have like a startup, and then I need to be Mark Zuckerberg basically at 21. And they're like, I'm a failure if I don't hit that.
And then you don't hit it, and you're like, oh my God.
But you might have so many things going for you. You might have an incredible support network around you. Like it is, you know, it is very easy in today's world with social media once more to think that you don't have it all. But like, again, my mom constantly tells me this, is like, just be very appreciative of what you have. And then again, if you are working towards something, just know that the best things in life do tend to take time. You know, like it took my mom 9 months to have me. Like,
the best thing.
The best things in life take time, mom.
No, it's amazing. Yeah, you got to be grounded, man. You got to be grounded and be more present. That's something that I've been focusing on myself more this you know, all 2021.
Gotta meditate, bro.
You know, being present. You know, being present in the moment and being grateful for what you've already done. Regardless of what your plans are and where you're headed, and
celebrating the small wins. That's something we do as a team. You know, we always do shout outs at the end of the week. And I love that, because even if we didn't have like the biggest week in terms of big sales or a big investment or a big product push or whatever, there is always something that we can just say, all right, great job, guys. Like we finally got a call with X brand that we've been waiting 4 months for. Fuck yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
You know, that's a big win. So those small wins, in my opinion, when you can celebrate them, it starts to get people to like change their perspective.
Of course.
Sorry. Arm. On what success actually looks like.
Yeah. Listen, Swish, bro. We're the MBH podcast.
So
money buys happiness.
Oh God.
What do you think of the term? What are your thoughts on the term? Give us a rundown.
I think money definitely helps. You know, I think it definitely helps to have money in your life, but obviously, like, you know, for me, my happiness right now, like if I really have to boil it down, it comes down to the people I'm working with, the people that I'm surrounded by, the work that I'm doing. Like I candidly think that if I was making 10 times more money, but I was doing something else in surf right now, I just wouldn't be engaged because all I'm thinking about right now is universal basic income. That's the dream. Data sharing. That's the dream. That's the mechanism of how we're going to be able to do it. And so every day I get excited just thinking maybe I'm one step closer to this mission. Yeah. That excites me. I can already see the TechCrunch article headline in my head.
Yes.
You know, manifesting so hard right
now. Let's go.
Right? But like, and that's why I love what I do, because I know that it's purpose driven, it's mission driven. I'm not just doing it for money.
Of course. Yeah.
And then I think the last thing is hobbies, right? Like I love playing basketball, love my F1 sim. That brings me happiness. Yeah. So, you know, do you need money in certain aspects? Yes. You know, to launch a business, you definitely need a little bit of money, I think. Bootstrapping is incredibly tough, especially for a tech venture like ours. Do you need money to have an F1 sim? Yes. You know, do you
an espresso martini?
Right?
Yes.
But like, you know, I don't think it's as much money as most people think. Yeah. You know, I don't think it's as much money as most people
I can agree with that. Well, dude, listen, I think you're going to fucking change the world, bro. I know it's my first time meeting you. I'm fucking impressed. Not that means much coming from me, but
no, you guys are great, man. I've heard nothing but great things about you guys.
I think you're gonna fucking change the world, and I'd love to actually have more conversation with you. We're running out of time, unfortunately, but we'll probably bring you back. We'd love to have you back.
With all the shit you got going on, bro, you're gonna have something different.
No, but I'd like to talk about. I'd like to talk about UBI more, because that's a topic that I've done a lot of research myself on, because I'm interested in it. Yeah. And so I love that you guys are solving it in a way that I've never even or trying to solve it in a way. I will solve it.
I gotta download Surf now.
Yeah. Yes, me too. Yeah, 100%. No, but you're on the wait list, buddy.
Yeah, I'm on the wait list. On the wait list, maybe. You got a panel tonight too, right?
I do have a panel
tonight.
Good luck, bro. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes. And we'll get you back on.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely have you back. Again, appreciate you coming out. Fucking dude, what an amazing chat. I'm already like mind blown, but we'll have you back. Swish.
Thank you.
Again, thank you, brother. Really appreciate it. On that note, Dean,
we're out.